Hello class 8. Welcome to your online geography class. Today we are going to start our class with this chapter Earth as a planet. And in the beginning of this chapter we will know about the unique features of our planet or of our Earth. Now have you ever thought of that though there are 8 planets in the solar system, why only our Earth has got life? So there must be some uniqueness. That's why only this planet can support life. Yes, obviously there are some uniqueness. The first thing that we can say, that is the presence of atmosphere. So if you learn the features of all the different planets, you will get to know that there are some other planets also where atmosphere is present, but the atmosphere of the earth has all the necessary gases which supports life, like oxygen, nitrogen and all that. Okay, the next important or next specific thing which supports life in our earth is the presence of water. And water is present in our earth in all the three forms, in liquid form, in solid form, and as water vapor in the gaseous form also. And we all know, as because 3/4 portion of our earth has got water and only 1/4 has got land, that is why our earth is also known as the blue planet or sometimes the watery planet. And last but not the least, the most important uniqueness of our earth is the optimum distance from the sun. What is the meaning of optimum distance? That is just the needed one. The earth in the solar family or in the solar system is not as close to the sun as Mercury, and it is not as far as the sun like Neptune. So the distance between earth and sun is just perfect for sustaining life. On an average, we can say that the average temperature of the earth, entire earth, is 17 degrees Celsius, which supports life. Mind it, this is the average temperature. Okay. Now, the next topic that we have to understand, that is the unique shape of the earth. So we know that the earth is spherical in shape. It is spherical or it is circular or it looks like a ball. But precisely there is a slight difference, and for that matter the shape of the earth is also very unique. Okay, and that is why it is known as geode or oblate spheroid. What is the uniqueness or where the uniqueness lies? That is, if we see the earth, we will see that the polar diameter and the equatorial diameter are not same. But if we draw with the help of a compass, if we draw a circle, the diameter will be same in everywhere. But our earth, it is little bit flattened towards the poles and it has got a bulge nearby the equator. That is why the equatorial diameter is 12,756 kilometer, but the polar diameter is quite less than that, that is 12,714 kilometers. That is why the shape of the earth, though it is spherical, but still the shape of the earth is very unique and it is known as geode or oblate spheroid. Okay. So up to this much, I hope I am clear to everybody. That's why I am moving on to the next portion, that is evidences to prove the shape of the earth. So In the medieval period, people do not have a clear idea about the shape of the earth. Mostly at that time, people used to think that the earth is, though it is circular, but it is flattened like a disc. Okay, but all these things, the following evidences will help us to understand that how human beings came to know that the earth, it is circular as well as it is spherical. It is not flattened like a disc. The first thing that we can discuss, that is circumnavigation by Magellan. So Magellan was a sailor from Spain who started navigating from the coasts of Spain in 1522 and came back to the same place from where he has started after 3 years. So this proved that the earth is spherical in shape. The next thing that we can understand, that is solar and lunar eclipses. So during the time of solar and lunar eclipses, okay, especially during the time of all these eclipses, the shadow of the earth which falls on the sun or on the moon produces a circular shadow, which proves that the earth is spherical in shape, because whatever the shape of an object is, the shape of the shadow of that particular object will be same. A square or rectangular or triangular object cannot produce a circular shadow. So during the time of solar and lunar eclipses, the circular shadow of the earth proved that the earth is spherical in shape. Another very important and very valid evidence is the photographs of the earth which were taken from the moon. So when human being landed on moon, they took not only the pictures of moon, they also took picture of the earth from the moon. Okay, so all these photographs proved that the earth is spherical. Next, all the through powerful telescopes, it has been noticed or it has been observed that all the other planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all these planets, all of them are spherical. As because Earth is also a part of the solar system, so Earth cannot be an exception. Last but not the least, that is the Bedford level experiment. What is that? There is a canal in England which is known as the Bedford Canal. In that canal, at a regular interval or at a same gap, 3 sticks have been inserted of the same height, and it has been noticed that the stick which is present in the middle is the height of that stick is maximum. This can be possible only in case of a spherical surface or circular surface. It is not possible in case of a straight or flat surface. In case of a flat surface, as because the length of each stick were same, so all of them should have in the same level. But if an object or if a place is circular or spherical, then the stick which will be in the middle, the top of that stick will reach the highest level. That experiment also proved that the earth is spherical in shape. Okay. Now the next portion that we have to know, that is the antipodal balance of land and water. What is that? It has been clearly noticed that there is an antipodal balance of land and water in our earth. That is, if one portion of our earth has got land mass, the portion just opposite to it will obviously have water bodies. It has been noticed that the amount of land masses are more in the northern hemisphere than the southern hemisphere, because the continents like Africa, South America, they got tapered downward or they got narrowed downward. Okay. Another evidence of antipodal balance, that is the north and south poles. They also look different. Why? The south pole, because the south pole is covered by a giant landmass, but the north pole isn't. Okay, that is why in a very simple word, I am just repeating this portion. In a very simple word, we can say that if one portion of our earth has got landmass, the portion just opposite to it will obviously have a water body. In this way, our earth keeps an antipodal balance between land and water. Now, in the next topic or in the next portion, we will know some details about the satellite of the earth. So we know that our earth has got only one satellite, only one moon. So there are some other planets as well in the solar system where there are many satellites, but our earth has got only one satellite, that is the moon. The diameter of moon is 3476 kilometer and it is almost 1/4 of the size of the earth. And the moon weighs about 80 times less than the earth because it is much smaller than the earth. Another thing that we have to know, that is the time of rotation and the time of rotation of the moon on its own axis and time of revolution around the earth is almost same. It is 27 and 28 days respectively. That is why from the earth we can see only one side or only one face of the moon, and that is why we think that the moon is not spinning or the moon is not rotating. Now, another thing, another important feature about the moon is that during the daytime, when the moon is getting the reflected light and heat of the sun, the temperature of the surface of the moon is 127 degrees Celsius. It is too high. And at night, the temperature goes down till minus 173 degrees Celsius. So we can say that there is a huge temperature difference between day and night on the surface of the moon. And last but not the least, we can say that the surface of the moon is covered by many dead volcanoes. Dead volcanoes are those volcanoes which will not erupt anymore. Okay, large craters or big holes and some highlands. Okay, so children, here we have come to an end of this chapter. I hope you have understood all the things. So in my next video, I will upload another chapter. For the time being, please learn this chapter and stay well. Okay, thank you.